This is Fred Beck and I Fighting, proudly sponsored by Empire Fight Store. I'm joined by Sonny Cannon and Mark Tibbs' gym. Sonny, how are you doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Yeah, good to see you, Dan. I've seen a few of your interviews. Doing really well.
Yeah, thanks, Sonny. I mean, that means a lot, mate. So tell me, what's kind of real role here at Mark Tibbs' Boxing? What do you do?
Yeah, well, I hooked up with Mark about 5 years ago. And obviously, COVID intervened and we was off doing our own things. Mark was away. Since he come back, he's hooked up with Big John Fisher. He asked me to come down and start doing a bit of work with him. And as it would happen, I was looking for a base myself. So, really good gym down here at the Origin Gym, like Rain and Boxing Club. Just come down here, great facilities. Get on with all the boys really well. Started working with John Edges and John Fisher to start. And they've sort of like been progressing really well. So, all in all, it's worked really well.
How long have you been kind of a strength and conditioning coach for then, before you came here?
Well, I've been in the professional sport game for over 10 years. In football, more in the sports nutrition side of things. So it's a good 10 years plus in like the professional side of things, really, yeah.
Does it ever get old? Do you ever get bored of it, or is there always something new coming along?
I'll be honest with you, working with young up-and-coming prospects, they're like a breath of fresh air. They've got so much energy, and you can see like they've got the fire inside them. And really, our job is to make them a better athlete. In my job, anyway. So athlete development is a long-term goal. And when you see a young fighter progress, at the end of the day, it's a dangerous business. So nothing can be done willy-nilly. Everything has to be done in a scheduled and programmed way. But yeah, working with young fighters, and obviously, like you've got the more seasoned fighters, and they're a little bit further up, and they know the routine, they know their drills. But especially working with the young fighters, they're learning sort of the pro side of things, how a pro camp works, how it's scheduled. And it's really interesting. Always good times.
Okay, I guess the young fighters are always fresher than the older guys. Is that true? The young guys are a lot easier to coach. So they don't really know what they're doing in terms of strength and conditioning.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. They're a lot more eager to learn. So, like, obviously, it's like anything. Once you learn the certain programs, and it's more sort of stages of training and stages of training camp. Once you learn all the ins and outs, and you get two or three camps under your belt, and you really start to understand the process and how it benefits, it all comes together. But yeah, I mean, the older pros, they know the process, and they're a little bit more settled down, obviously, in their approach and in life in general, in most cases. So yeah, it all starts to come together.
And what happens when some of the fighters here, I doubt it happens much, but they give you a little bit of back chat? What happens then?
In what, sorry?
When the fighters here give you a little bit of back chat, they don't want to do the exercises. No,
it's all good. To be fair, there's no bad trainers here, I'll be honest with you. I mean, like
back chat, I mean, like, they don't, I don't do that exercise today. Why are we doing that? Does that ever happen?
No, do you know what? It's I always say to the young, especially young fighters, you've always got to understand what you're doing. And everything you do, it has to transfer into your fight-specific sport. So everything has to be done for a reason and a purpose. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy and everything else. So it's everything is explained to them in stages, and we do what we do for a reason. And listen, at the end of the day, they want to win. So they will do what you say. If it makes sense to them and they know it's taking them where they want to go, yeah, they're all on board, yeah.
Yeah, I guess they're quite good at the guide. And lots of strength and conditioning coaches are all quite different. Dan Lawrence's own kind of sort of thing, you've your own sort of thing. What's the difference between you and a lot of other strength and conditioners, do you think?
Do you know what? I think most strength and conditioners, they all set out a program. So you'll have your camp, you'll have whether it be an 8-week, 6-week, 12-week. Obviously, performance, to finish in a performance zone and peaking is the most important thing. So the more you work with a fighter, the more you sort of learn their energy, what they're like in different phases. Obviously, it's different for a fighter making weight than, say, an heavyweight with John. You can sort of, like, towards the back end of their camp, they're still really high in energy. A fighter who's coming down in weight, you might have to be a little bit more cautious with them. But really, all strength and conditioners, they'll all set out a program. They'll all try and work that program. But the most important thing, it's a moving picture. You have to go with the athlete. Things change. An athlete might be great one day, high energy, then the next day they might be, things might have affected them. They might have a few niggles from sparring. So as long as you're willing to adjust as you go along, I think you're going to see results for sure. But the most important thing is their sport-specific training. It's never all about the strength and conditioning. That's a piece to a puzzle. But the most important training you can have is, sport-specific wise, is your technical pad drills, sparring and everything else. So as long as your strength and conditioning complements that, it all comes together. Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. I always find it interesting that each strength and conditioner has their own separate kind of routine, but then you kind of switch things up the whole time to make sure it matches the fighter's performance. But it is Johnny Fisher fight week. Will you be going each single day, or you got the weigh-ins, public workouts, press conferences? Will you be there for each one of them?
Yeah, I'll be with John for the week. Like sort of me, Mark, and Jimmy. We'll be about from sort of Wednesday, Thursday onwards at the hotel, just getting settled down basically. It's good for a fighter to be away in the hotel, away from like family distractions, everything else. In the hotel, you're in the zone, everyone's sort of ready to go. It's time to go to work basically, and that's the mindset.
Awesome, sounds pretty good. And Sonny, I'll catch you up. I'll probably see you tomorrow, the day after that, and the day after that. But where can people find you Instagram, social media-wise?
Sonny Cannon, I'm on Instagram. I always try and say a little bit under the radar, that's the way I like it. At the end of the day, it's all about the fighters, and performances always speak for themselves. So, yeah, nice to see you. God bless, and thanks for coming down.
Awesome, thanks for the time, mate.